laughing here. I'm Father Russ Carmichael, and this is Street Talk. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate all of you who follow us. And I say yes, across the table from me is Dominic Cotton, my co-host tonight. We're going to wing it tonight. Okay, we had guests, but some complications happen and stuff like that. But Dominic and I can chat up a whole hour and stuff like that just by talking to you folks out there and probably tell you what's coming down the pike. I've got a couple of books here I want to show you. Somebody asked me the other day, where's the books? Usually every week, Father, you talk about books you read and stuff like that, and I guess I haven't done that in a while. I do want to say, again, last week I talked about the post office people who love me and have been great. I have to now talk about the Waterford post office people who are treating me nice. I have to say hello to Jerry at the, I'm not supposed to mention the business because I'm, okay, but she knows. Jerry and all the people where I shop every other day, and I want to thank you and all the people I go in there. Everybody's so, like I'm a celebrity or something like that, 50 years of celebrity, right? And we're making you a star, Dominic, okay? I like it, really, really good, I love it. Just before we went on, just a minute before, I was talking to Dominic. This is the most impacting book concerning black individuals that I have ever read outside of my own partners and, that are black. Ralph Ham, Blackberry Juice, his books and stuff like that, and I'll be promoting his most recent one here pretty sure soon. But Ralph, of course, has done 47 years in the Massachusetts prison for a non-capital crime. It's outrageous. He's there because of political reasons and stuff like that. But this man is not. Ta-Nehisi Coates, Pulitzer Prize winner, Between the World and Me. I'm telling you, I haven't been able to put it down. I got it with me tonight because I want to finish it. It is unbelievable. I identify with them, and I really learned the reason why. I have a sense, I don't totally understand, but I'm 80-90% why black people are oppressed. I understand what happens to them. I understand what they go through. And I understand that because I'm an ex-felon. Okay, so once I did crime as a felon, a felony is a life sentence. I don't care whether you go to jail or whatever. You do a felon, and you're out of everything in the United States. You're everything. You ain't going to get jobs. You ain't going to get taxi license. You ain't going to get a barber's license.
You literally, you have to find a way to become an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the only way that they're not going to go back and check your record. Is if you own a business and you work for
That's what I've
yourself.
done all my life. Almost all my life, between illegal entrepreneurship and legal entrepreneurship. I was very blessed in that when I was young, my families were in business. They were in the construction business. They were in, they're business people. Doctors, lawyers, Indians, chiefs, construction, tradespeople. If I didn't grow up in that environment, I would have been totally wiped out, but I would have never been able to earn a living, and I would have never been able, once I got into crime, ever got out of crime. Okay? And of course, I've been in business for a long time in certain things, in certain areas. But I survived in years doing swap meets, developing business, been in the restaurant business. Because once I did time and stuff like that, no job. And I have a master's degree. Actually, I'm close to 2 PhDs, big deal. They're about as worthless as toilet paper, so it cost me a lot of money. Okay? And I'm dyslexic, which is even worse, okay? But this book, and you said Gary represented Gary.
I remember Gary, I remember Robin, also another guy, Roland, that's another rep down that way. And I remember them talking about this on Facebook, and how I think Roland Lamar was talking about the perspective, and obviously he's white, and the other two people are black. And how he felt a better understanding or a connection through reading this book. I mean, obviously,
awesome. I slammed you. This is awesome. This is really awesome. The other book, okay, well, now, I don't know if you realize it or not, but Bob Beckel, which is, I don't know if he's MSNBC. Okay, Bob Beckel, okay, is from Connecticut, actually Lyme. But he's not originally from Connecticut, but then he lived in Connecticut. Of course, I think he's in New York now and everything else. I Should Be Dead. Another great, easy read book, and he talks about addiction, okay, his personal life and the problem of addiction. So we have a lot of people. These are great books, okay, easy read, but really impacting personal life stories. So, that's what Father's reading is this week. And of course, I'll give you another one, of course. I'm a nerd, okay, Black Flags, okay. This is for Joby Warwick. This is for people who want to understand about Syria, the rise of ISIS, and everything else like that. This book will scare you, okay? And this book told me why the United States government kept an eye on me for so many years, because I was a revolutionist or at least a rebel in the prison system, organized a big thing. I did not realize that actually ISIS stemmed out of a bunch of convicts
in prison.
And Sakawi was a wacko ex-convict, right out of the streets, just like and then just got a religious gig and see you later.
He knows how to take over a city.
Yeah, guess what?
The same way somebody who's OC would go and take it out. What do? You walk in?
Well, again, there's another book that I just recently read this one, where I understood where I got all the equipment to do all these things and why I think like these wackos, because I'm one of them, and justifiably so, that the government was smart, probably watching me and what I'm about. Of course, we traded votes for guns. Okay, so 50 years I've spent gathering votes rather than putting bullets in guns and shooting people and stuff like that. But obviously, I was an OC member, so who knows where things go. But those are my books for my viewers who academic and stuff like that, and I know a lot of you are out there. And my daughter tonight called me a nerd, of all people, lieutenant in the Coast Guard, going for an MBA at Harvard, right? She calls me.
No getting away from that.
Right, like I'm a nerd, right? Yeah, please give me a break. I am blessed with a bunch of kids that are nerds.
Well, so now going back, and we're talking about convicts.
Convicts, yeah.
And we were starting to talk a little bit about the race down in Bridgeport, because we supported Mary Jane Foster down there,
yeah.
And
she lost. Mary Jane lost. Too bad.
She lost.
Well, let's get this.
Go ahead.
Good evening. You're on Street Talk with Father and Dominic.
Hey, Father and Dominic. I've been waiting all week to call.
Hey, yeah, your voice, I can't hear you. Maybe
I've been waiting all week to call. I got a little bit of cold. But I called you last week.
Yeah.
You had the former party chairman, somebody in politics on. And he was talking about how the politics works.
Oh, yeah, John Heyman. Oh, yeah.
State Capitol. And I understand all that. And I made the comment about how do they make the decision between the Amistad and the soup kitchen. And he gave me the tap dance, all right? And you kind of bailed him out a little bit about organizing your voting block. But one thing that neither one of you talked about, but you exercise in your day-to-day life, is the public trust. And that's what I feel is failing in all of our elected officials, is the public trust.
Well,
They put party before the public trust.
No, you gotta listen, okay?
Or maybe explain, maybe I'm missing the point.
Well,
public
and
trust
maybe,
is
I just
determined.
want to, can I just say something? I'm not going to shut you up, okay? Look, these guys go into a back room, and they got votes, and they got a constituency that puts them in office, okay? And what he was trying to explain to you, and which I know, because I'm going to be dealing with stuff this year, we dealt with stuff last year, I deal with legislatures all the time, I've had for 50 years. The reason they listen to me on justice stuff is I put out votes. You know, I put out, well, we probably put out 15,000 votes this year for the governor, who is now going to try and cut our programs, okay? And otherwise, he wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't give a crap about me. He don't care who Father Carmichael is or who Dominic is, but what he cares about and what we have demonstrated over years, you don't pay no attention to me, I'm going to get you out of office. I did it in New London for the last 13 years. You don't listen to me, I'll get you out when your time comes up. Okay, you listen to me, I'm going to work my tail off to get you in, like we have done for Michael Passero and others of the Democrats, because we believe in them and they hold the public trust. Outside of that, go ahead, I'll let you talk.
Okay, then what happens when they don't uphold the public trust? Are they now, like the Democratic Party takes the black vote for granted?
Well,
Are they not taking?
I'd like to step in there for 2 seconds, and I want to tell you something, because right there in that situation, I know I've been in the middle of and had long discussions with people from the Black and Puerto Rican caucus, and let me tell you, when it comes down to numbers, and this is where you have to pay attention to some of this stuff. You know, last election, Democrats lost a lot of seats. And so now their majority is very slim. Now, when the Black and Latino caucus, which is 30 members strong,
Right.
out of 87 Democratic votes, they have a tremendous amount of sway, and they actually, on the last days of the special session, they made sure that certain pieces of legislation got put in during the special session. And they had that power because they had the 30 votes in order to be able to say if they didn't agree with something, or if they weren't, you know, going to help them with this agenda, they could have shut the governor out,
Shut them down.
shut the speaker out, and the speaker knew, you know, where to have to be able to count this, because, you know, when it came right down to it, this budget was very unpopular. It still is. Obviously, it's still a mess right now, because they're still trying to figure out, you know, that they're already 6 months in, and $350 million that they gotta make, you know, up from someplace. But that's how, you know, politics works, is you're right. There are some things that should be an easy yes-no answer. But there are so many sides that are involved in things, that some things that you think are easy aren't. I had a situation where I have a son he's got a rare genetic disorder. There was a bill that came up,
Right.
pretty much a slam dunk. You know, create a group of people to be able to look at this, come up with ideas for legislation. Well, people had disagreements as to who should be on that committee. So they ended up switching it from a committee to a task force to decide who should be on the committee. You think something that should be as easy as,
simple.
you know, and it not costing the taxpayer any money, get everybody involved, should be really simple. It's not.
It's
I mean,
not.
there's two sides to all this stuff that goes on up there.
Let our guest
And that's
jump
what makes things complicated.
in. Jump in, guy. Are you in?
Yeah, I'm still here. I understand all that. I understand all the background and the backstory. But at some point in time, we have to hold our elected officials accountable.
Yeah,
I know we do that at the ballot box. You know, that's the argument against term limits. Is that, well, every 2 years, every 4 years is really a term limit.
That's the only place, but see, that's the only damn power we got. And not enough of us go out and vote. I try to explain this to people I've been doing this for over 50 years. You say you gotta get out and vote. If you want the things, you gotta get other people with you. You gotta be involved and stuff like that. And people burn out. And they get tired, and they feel like, and they are. I mean, that's why we call it the struggle for justice. We're poor people. You know, we don't have the bucks of these clowns that can hire people all day long to go fight for them and everything else like that. We do it voluntarily and everything else like that. It's the only way you're heard, and it's the only way that you can hold them accountable to the public trust. You're right, and I'm as frustrated as you. I get so effing angry. You got to be kidding me. I mean, and it's so painful of what they do. Should we have medical care for everybody in the country? I mean, I believe, how can you say no to that? When you got a bunch of clowns saying, oh, no, everybody shouldn't have it. It costs too much, or they don't deserve it, or whatever. Are you crazy? If somebody's sick, you want them to have medical. I mean, I hear you loud and clear, and I really thank you for jumping in and being concerned, because it's really important. You know, people.
Clinton's selectman was like decided by one vote.
Yeah,
that Clinton select, you know, that one
we
vote
had a recount,
on a recount.
Yeah, look at the recount you had in New London, right? 2 people, 3 votes. Okay, you had a recount there. Some of these people that get in, and it's the only way you can hold them. Look, Mike Passero, I fought for Mike Passero for years since he started. I fought for him. We got out plenty of votes out to make sure he got in there. I fought against the other guy. Down and dirty fought, okay? And okay. However, if Mike Passero breaks the trust with me and my people, guess what? I'll be on him as bad as I was on Finuzio. I'll do everything for the rest of my life going after him if he doesn't hold up to the public trust. That's the way I deal with all the people that I have elected. Peg Curtin, I love Peg Curtin. I had trouble with her one year. My guys went out and we voted her out of the council, and she hasn't been back on the council since my folks voted her out. That's the whole thing. And people say, "Oh, you know, Father." That's the way it works, and it doesn't take a lot. You know, in certain areas, depending on where you live, you learn how many it takes to put people in. It could be you just need 10 people, or you might need 300, or you know, on a statewide, and you go out and you develop your organization, and you make sure you get people who will go out and vote. Talking about it doesn't do it. You got to get them to go to the ballot box in rain, snow, shine, and we're blessed. I mean, I am, and I say this to all my street talk people, all the people who have been involved with me. You know, I love you folks. You all know that. Dominic talks to you on Facebook and everything else like that. When we need you, you go to the State House. Our Justice Coalition, when we go to the State House, we fill up 3 rooms. Okay? 3 rooms.
You know what, Father Russ, that's why I like your program, and I like you personally, because you gave a cogent answer. No tap dancing. You know, it's the power of the ballot box. The only thing that we don't have is transparency.
Oh, I agree.
As far as you know, we talk about backroom deals, counting votes, and things like that.
That's where it all happens.
We need a little bit more transparency. And as I said before, as a taxpayer in New London and a property owner in New London, I don't have a problem paying taxes if there's a return on my investment. even just as a taxpayer in general, and I'll bring up the Amistad again.
You guys,
How much money have we received in revenue versus the money we paid to bail out the Amistad? See, I'm a dollars and cents guy. You got to have return on investment.
yeah, well, they spent what, $1 million? They spent $1 million a year on that, right?
Right, and they
Yeah.
still haven't paid off the debt.
And they didn't pay off the debt, and they were doing some hanky-panky that I don't think the auditors have figured out all the stuff going on that, and the same thing. So then you want money for other stuff. No, I agree. I also agree, though, that there's a reason to have that. Historically, for education, for the black community and stuff like that. I understand that you want that, but you need to be, you're right, transparency, you want to oversee it. When they got in that trouble, I was hoping that Dan Williams, Don Williams, I called Jim John.
That's all right.
Yeah, Don Williams, who was the past Speaker of the House. Okay, I wanted him to oversee the investigation of the Amistad, because I know he's an honest man. I know he upholds the public trust. You got to, in New London, we're really lucky. I really, believe me or not, we've got great people. I support Ernie Hewitt. I don't care what anybody says about, I know the man does the right thing. He is on the right issues. I followed him since 14 years. Okay, Ernie, I know what he's doing. Okay, I knew Senator
Andrea?
Andrea Mitchell on education. She was solid. Andy Maynard. Okay. Great representative of the people, and is going to uphold the public trust. You got Kathy Olsen. The reason I support those people is because I watch them. And let me tell you, if they did the wrong thing, I'm going to be the first one on Facebook, on my blogs, on Street Talk, and I'm going to be trashing them. And when Father trashes, I get this.
Last topic, and I'll let you go because I know you guys got a lot to talk about. Why is it that we cannot get a straight budget for the schools?
Oh.
Why is it always smoke and mirrors?
Oh, no, I don't know about that, because even our councilman in New London, right? Well, let alone the state, but just on the New London situation, they still don't know what that budget is like. I think that's all going to change with the new mayor. I hope it's going to change, and we'll be watching that. If it doesn't change, we'll talk about our local stuff and with what's going on with Mike's administration when he gets in there. I mean, now that he's in, his struggle has just started, and we're going to be watching. We're going to be...
And I'm sure he's going to have to deal with some of the after effects.
Oh, my God.
Of the last administration.
Oh, yeah, right.
With some of the decisions that were made and some of the lawsuits that were brought. Unfortunately, one person does something and it has a cascading effect that lasts for a long period of time.
That you have to take over.
Whether it's higher insurance rates or it's other things along those lines.
Well, you got to replace people who were unqualified, that got hired, that didn't even have the qualifications. He's taken over a mess.
Real quick, what was his first official act?
Which guy?
Passero.
He hasn't. He's not
Hasn't
in
done
office.
anything yet? Okay.
He's not in yet.
I'd be curious to find out what his first official act was.
I
Because,
bet you-
Peninsula was like, don't drug test the city employees.
Well,
Okay, I'll hang up and let you guys keep talking.
bless you.
Let's
God
get
bless
that.
you.
Thank you.
Great. It was wonderful talking to you. I love callers like that who engage you and stuff like that. Really, I really do. But the hardest thing, I'm going to tell you, the hardest thing is trying to get people out to vote. So it's taken years and years to develop. I've always said I'd rather 6 that will work than 600 that won't get off the couch. And of course, over the years, that we've built up more than 6. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot. You're constantly working. You're constantly at the State House. You're constantly overseeing stuff that comes down. We no sooner get one thing fixed, and they're trying to backdoor us on something else, right? You're dealing with ABI again.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like we had a 10-year hiatus where like nobody bothered us, and I'm like wishing for those days again where like you were sitting and wonder whether they were even looking at these programs, and
now they're going to...
now they look at them and it's like they want to fix everything all in one shot, and not that I don't understand that, I do, but they want to fix it in their way, and their way might not necessarily be the way that everybody else sees it.
Well, their way is they've not been involved.
Yeah.
Okay, their way is coming in and walking. Look, it's happening in mental health. It's happening in medical care, brain injured situations and stuff like that. It's happening in justice. Justice. We're going to let out a bunch of people. Okay, now we got so many filling up everything. Guys that have gotten 8 years, 5 years, 10 years, 12. Let's let them out. Let them out to what? They haven't got a damn program for them. I tell you, they called me up to ask me to do programs. Yeah, Father, you're a program specialist. Yes, I am. I said, yeah, what do you want to deal with? I said, I know the justice system backwards and forwards and all that stuff. I'm an ex-convict. I develop programs that go back to the 70s, okay? First alternatives to corrections with judges and everything else. Yeah, what do you want? Well, we're going to send these guys out in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Are you out of your mind? To what? Are you going to send them home? To what? What job are you sending them to? Who's going to look and make sure that they're all right? Where are they getting the money to get a place? Okay, you got none of that. And number one, have you started with any programs for them while they were inside? No, I know the answer. Okay, you haven't done a damn thing. Now you're going to turn them out. It's not going to be their fault, but they're going to fail. And they're going to do something stupid. Or they're going to get frustrated and go back on drugs because of the pain of not being able to survive. And they're going to come back. And they're all going to say, see, we told you. We gave them a break. We let them out. And guess what? They can't take care of it. Of course they can't. Who the hell can get a job? There's no jobs. There's no jobs.
Well, this kind of comes full circle, talking about jobs,
shit.
felonies,
Excuse me.
and back to where we were talking about with Ganim down in Bridgeport.
Oh, yeah. Nothing like setting that guy up, huh? He's been out 4 years.
But one of the things that
And he couldn't get a job.
One of the things he did, well, he couldn't get a job. He couldn't get his law license back because he wasn't.
Well, he broke the public trust, just what we were just talking about.
He wasn't fully willing to admit to all of his crimes.
Because he's a liar.
If he admitted to all of his crimes, then he could have gotten his law license back.
He broke the public trust. He lost it. He deserved to lose it. He's a convict. How many years did he do?
7.
Now he's out 4. And they elect him back into the same position. That's like giving me my Uzi, putting me on an armored car and saying, here, protect the money, Father.
So I guess what I want to take a look.
You know what would happen with that money, right? Okay? Even with this. I'd have to pray, act of contrition, and then see you later. That armored truck will be gone.
Not that I don't disagree with any of that, but I like to look at the whole situation of how did this guy end up with 59% of the vote? What did he do that was different from everybody else? And I take
Don't you know what he did? I don't.
He went in. He
took care of people.
Yeah, he went into the communities, but he went into the black communities.
And he went into churches. Oh, please,
he
Jimmy
did.
Swaggart. I'm sorry, I've sinned.
But
forgive me.
He got people to identify with the fact they're like, they're like, I'm a felon, I can't vote. And he's like, well, I'm a felon too.
Yes,
you can vote.
Yeah, that's right. I was one of the first for that.
And back to that
of course
whole
you can vote.
that whole equation.
As long as you're not on probation, parole, or whatever.
And you've made your restitution.
And stuff like that. No, you don't even need that. You just get your pay. Once you're off, your papers are in. But I think with this state's the same as Mass.
But that's how you get that
Well, it's
deeply
the
involved
same-
in
Well,
it.
that's exactly the way we do stuff. That's all, obviously, my group throughout New England, there's a bunch of convicts, ex-convicts, their families, and stuff like that, because they relate. They
Right.
understand. When they read this, every convict, every mother, father, and everything else, you read this book, I don't care white, black, brown, okay? You're oppressed, you read his book, you got it down, you know what they're doing to all of us, okay? But that's right, he went out and he organized and he's no different than Cianci in Rhode Island, except Cianci just couldn't carry it off because there were too many against him, but it's the same thing, okay? He organized it, people identify that, and they forgive you for economic crimes, okay? I just don't think. Well, I hope he's all right, because I don't think it's good for him because of the temptations. You got big bucks down there,
Yes, you do.
big contracts.
Yep.
That really, everyone needs to be concerned with what's going on. But the police were one of the first ones to support him.
Because he said he would increase their roles. That was the whole part of it. He would increase the police force.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He focused in on crime
And you
and
better
some of the
know.
things that he did do well in his administration, which is
yeah,
what
and
people remember him from.
Well, same with Cianci. Cianci was unbelievable in Providence. He's done better than anybody there, better than anybody for the working man and stuff. I would have voted him back in. Yeah, but I'm a Massachusetts guy. We run guys from prison. We vote them back into office as long as they take it. I love Jimmy Hoffa. I'm a Teamster. He made my, he paid me, So what, I don't care what he stole. He was putting food on my table. Okay? I always looked at he's stealing for the big guys, the 1%ers, who I'd steal from today.
The economic Robin Hood.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what I always thought I was. I truly wasn't, but I was looking to.
Well, how we want to be perceived from other people is a different story sometimes.
Exactly right. Exactly right. If you give back and you take and stuff like that, people seem to forgive you and they understand. And obviously, there's a machine down there. There's
There
a
is.
big machine.
Well, and that was the other
Okay.
half of it. Like
Yeah,
Mario Testa, who was
Yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah.
Democratic
He's the head
chair
of-
down there.
Yeah.
He said, well, Finch played like a little bit more ball, like with the Democratic committee.
It would-
he wouldn't have been
the
this
other way.
situation.
Right.
And he said
Well,
he was working Ganim for 2 years to get him back in.
Again, see, this is what we were just talking about, back rooms, getting out votes, okay, with our guest that was talking on here. Same thing. This is the game that's played. Okay. I know. As you look at Passero, I know there's people hanging around Passero, been kissing his butt for a year and a half, 2 years, right? They think I know they think they're going to get something from him. They ain't going to get nothing from him. I know what kind of guy he is. They can forget it. They can forget it. Yeah, Michael is an honorary man. He is, he didn't want any trash being said about Finozio. Yeah, you know what I said about that, right? That's why we trashed him. When I trashed him good, and I'll continue to trash him because he's a piece of garbage as far as I'm concerned, and what he's done to families, and he hurt people in New London, my opinion, okay, of where he was. So I didn't let up, and my people never let up on Finozio, and will never let up on him if he ever runs for office, because that's the guy who broke the public trust, hurt families. Passero, on the other hand, is a guy who's a nice guy. He don't want to trash people and stuff like that. That's the people who win elections trash people. We lost Bowles.
Yep.
Same
Timmy.
reason.
Timmy? Paul
Timmy,
Davis?
I love it. Paul Davis, same thing. Nice
James
guys.
Maroney?
Yeah, Jim, right. We're crying out loud. We lost weight, right? They wouldn't
Yeah,
trash
a lot of
people.
people too.
Man, you're right. And we're talking marginal votes. If they were a little bit dirty,
Less than 100 votes.
yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Oh, that shouldn't. That shouldn't have happened at all down there. I
No.
mean, brilliant guy, everything else, family man, unbelievable record, intelligent. You know, you couldn't have a better guy. And, please, and Paul, Tim was the one that bothered me most up here, because I thought we had that, I thought we had him in, okay, and he wouldn't go dirty. He just wouldn't, he wouldn't go dirty. Me, see, I don't care. And I thank the viewer who said, at least I'm out there. Yeah, I am out there because, 55, whatever, many years ago, I did my felony stuff, did my organized crime crap. All my stuff was in the paper. Anything you want to know about me, you can find it out. I mean, you don't need to vet me. I was a nasty individual and everything else like that. There is nothing anybody can say about me that hasn't been said as a priest, before I was a priest, and whatever else. So I don't care. So I'm just me, and I'm me here or outside or whatever,
Well, you define yourself. You don't let somebody else define you. And you tell people who you are straight out.
Straight out.
And a lot of these situations, people get into difficulties because really, if you want to get anywhere, you got to define your opponent. And sometimes it's less about your own policies and other things, as well as you define who your opponent is or what you don't, the public might not like about them.
Right. But it's costly when you do what I do, because sometimes you cannot get into areas because they're scared of you or whatever over the years and stuff like that. I've been fortunate, okay? But I come out of a political family. I had political connections before, before I even went to prison and stuff like that. So I am somewhat blessed, and I don't come out of projects. Obviously, I come out of I was a. Bobby's called me a little rich kid, which was bad. my partner, DeLillo. Okay.
But we deal with that here. I mean, once people get to know what we're all about, it's different than what their perceptions of things are.
But we go back. We go back as kids, okay, and change. And what I try to tell all my people out there, and I do this show for convicts, ex-convicts, and their families, because I want to show and demonstrate that you can affect where you live, your world. This is why I love this. I love this book. I haven't been. I'm driving me crazy because I'm almost finished with it. Between the World and Me, it is unbelievable because, okay, he says basically the same thing. This is who you are. This is who I am. I got to live in this world, and I got to find my way. Then I'm going to accept me. And that's, of course, the thing I tell every convict, ex-convict. I say the exact same thing. You can't worry about that. You just got to worry about your survival, to do your best, and when you come to it, you've got to figure out who you are as a person. And then you serve. You serve, I serve, okay?
You find a comfortability within your skin. And that's not to say that even in the past 3 years, I haven't gone through a lot of uncomfortability, worrying about what other people think, like, when I do go out and speak up or do things, or always wondering whether I feel like I've crossed a certain line.
No, you're who you are.
But
Yeah.
I know to get people to get things done, sometimes I'm relentless. I'm forgiving in the fact that I let people know that I'm relentless, and that's okay. You know what? They appreciate the fact, and I said, look, I understand, I have patience, I'm not giving up here, which means that sooner or later you got to come around to where, listening to what I have to say.
You gotta
Otherwise,
face
I'm going to keep coming back at you.
Yeah,
I might take a break for a period of time.
Yeah. You got to face me. You got to.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to do your job, because I'm gonna make you. Well, it's the same thing with me. I mean, for years and years, if you didn't want to talk to you, I was coming through the door. Okay, and then if you didn't want to talk and you weren't dealing with me right, I was going to get you out of office. okay, from the political standpoint, and it's too bad because I had to use that hammer more than anything else. We have not had to do that because we found that we work with Ed, we work across the aisle. And you would think I'm a down and dirty, way left liberal Democrat, but guess what? The people that I actually worked with and got paid for in civil rights were Republican governors. They had no trouble hiring me. They had no trouble with me dealing with their justice programs. They had no trouble dealing with me with civil rights stuff. They wanted me in the seats that could help them. Okay, we're Democrats, you know.
They'll hold back sometimes.
Oh, Danny's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sits up there and he deals with all my friends who are dealing with his program, but he doesn't want me sitting at that table because he don't want to hear this kind of talk. That you're stupid because you're doing a program that you haven't secured yourself, and those guys are going to come back. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to spend $500,000 on this program that you haven't got in place yet. You need to do this, and I know who you need to do the right thing with. But you ain't gonna listen to me. You're gonna put your friend in there who doesn't know what the heck he's talking about, or she, okay, who is going to be dealing with people that they know nothing about.
It's a difficult place to come from when you have to come up with your own ideas and to actually lead. And I look at what happens up in Washington and with some of these clowns, and I'll say clowns, literally, because they sit there and their idea of governing is to block everything. But they can't come up with an idea of their own.
No, because they don't know.
They don't know. They know how to block.
What you've done, okay, and we've done, but you've been the front for it, for the coalition, is we have educated most all our legislators to what ABI, traumatic brain injury service is. They understand what it is to be an independent living stills trainer. We have brought clients into them. I hate the word client, that makes me, but we brought family members into them so that they, up until then, they didn't even have a real clue, okay? And then now what are they doing? They're gonna outsource, okay? Because they don't know what they're doing, they're gonna outsource, DSS is gonna outsource part of the management aspect of TBI to a bunch of clowns that don't know what they're doing.
Which we had a meeting with them actually back in October, and we told them pretty much straight out. And I started reading through our request for proposal that they put out to get companies to buy into this. And the main thing that we kept on telling them backwards and forwards was that we want people who have experience with brain injury, because brain injury is different than every other disability, because it can affect anybody. It's not something that you've lived with for your entire life. It's something that's happened to you at a certain point, and it changes who you are along with the area of your brain that's been affected with it. So we told them pretty much straight out, look.
Well, there's no cookie cutter.
And the thing that they put out on their request for proposal was, we only want licensed clinical social workers. We only want peoples with masters in social works or a bachelor's in nursing. And we told them specifically, there are no programs that are out there in the master's level in social work that deal with brain injury.
No kidding.
See, they just want to have what they think are like them, which are clinical social workers.
Well, it's like the MSW, that social worker thing that, in the 70s, these clowns went and got a degree about not knowing what they were doing. Okay, they had no experience, they got no practical experience, they don't even understand. They do not understand that each one of these individuals is totally different. that you've got to go in there and you've got to adjust yourself to where they are. Now, some things, maybe, okay? But there's a big difference between Auntie Gail and my other, Auntie Gail has passed away,
Yep.
and other service people. There's a big difference.
Oh, huge.
Okay, a huge difference. There's a big difference. You can take somebody from where they are. Okay, I can name 3 clients. I don't want a client. I hate that. I can name at least 3 or 4 individuals that we directly operate with, maybe more, okay, that are traumatic brain, and each one of them is unique. And each one of them, as you or I or whoever the living skill trainer is to deal with them, we would have to approach them totally different in how we deal with them. And that's what they don't do.
And that's
what they don't
This is
get.
the problem that I have, is they're taking the social workers we've been working with for a long period of time, and they take all that experience,
And do
and
what?
and they throw it out the window,
Right.
in order to get like a new group, because they can sit there and, they can play the marionette and play puppeteer to what they think that the program should be. And that's my issue, Commissioner Bremby. That's my issue, is you're taking all the experience away from the people who know how to deal with these people, and you're trying to make it into another cookie-cutter program. And whether it's, you can't get this like in line with getting reassessments or other things done, or you have other programs that you feel are more important, or whatever the case may be, you know what? You're putting aside the most complicated waiver program that you have and trying to push it off on a group and along with the people who are at the top level who don't understand this either.
It's a total shame. I think about it when I go in. Obviously, I worked with aunties. I could use auntie because auntie passed away, okay, for multiple years, and then I have other clients, okay. I deal with their neurosurgeons. You deal with their top people. I have people. Then I have social workers coming in trying to tell me what. I say, wait a minute. Don't you tell me how to deal with this individual. Have you talked to the doc? Well, what do you mean? Yeah, have you talked to the doc? I said the key doctor that's overseeing this whole thing. You're going to come in here to this house and you're going to tell me how to deal with this individual. You don't even know what this individual will go through on an hourly 24/7 basis. And I have to adjust to them. Why? Because it's client-centered treatment. They don't even know what that is.
Well, they're trying to rip it apart from what person-centered is.
Person-centered.
Because you know what?
Say
Somebody starting out new on this program, they go in, they interview them, but they don't tell them what is truly available in the program or how the whole process works. And they don't want to have the input from a neuropsychologist who does know the program, who could help guide them or make recommendations. They want to sit just with the client.
Right.
And I can tell you from experience, I've had people that have gone down, and because of their brain injuries, they don't realize that they have a problem in the first place. So they go in there and they ask them, well, what problem do you have?
Exactly.
And they look at them and they say, well, I don't have any problems.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're asking somebody
who hasn't got the capacity to understand they got a problem, if they got a problem.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do that. They do that all the time. That's because they don't want to spend the money. They don't want to look at the person I had for 20 years, not hearing. 20 years with a hearing deficit because they were too lazy to have him reevaluated. 20 years this individual was almost unable to hear anything. You had to raise your voice to communicate with this individual. They said to me, no, well, yeah, he can't hear, that's it. No. I said, no. I'm gonna do a lawsuit, or I'm gonna have him reevaluated. We had him reevaluated, and today, he hears, okay? But I go insane, because I say, I didn't need a master's degree to figure that out.
No,
No.
but you needed experience, or you've had experience to be able to tell you
Exactly, yeah.
what to go look for,
exactly.
or how to go about looking for it, or how to develop a program which is suited
Right.
to his needs.
Right, exactly right.
And that's
But that's practical experience.
It is.
You ain't gonna get that in no book.
No.
There's no way that you get, there's no way, I can't even imagine, I could do pretty good, but there is no way in an academic situation that I could even impart the education I gained just from working with Auntie Gail over 30 years. There's no way of the difficulties and all the problems and everything else. Obviously, I learned more I learned more in education, dealing with brain injury, dealing with all these dealing with addiction and everything, directly from having to care for that individual. And then of course, I was lucky I had others too. But she was the real key source of learning. And she was a major advocate. I can't believe this. It's 3 minutes. You gotta be kidding, huh?
Yeah, we can go through it,
I winded up.
What can we say?
Who we got coming up?
Well, speaking of corrections.
Speaking of corrections, okay.
Next week, we got Scott Semple,
Okay.
who is
Commissioner of Department of Corrections.
Corrections. So we were going to talk
Do
about
they call him
second.
commissioner here, or do they call him
He's not warden. No,
No,
commissioner.
I know he's not warden. He's the big guy. He's the
Yes,
head honcho.
Commissioner, yeah.
I hope he doesn't see me calling him head honcho, right?
But no, he's a nice guy.
Yes,
Actually, I have
I-
a lot of friends that
I
have been
have a lot
involved in
of friends with
corrections.
me too, yeah, right.
Maybe on opposite sides of the
I probably won't want to walk in here, right? So we have Mr. Semple.
We have Scott Semple,
Scott Semple.
and then we're off for a couple of weeks.
Oh, then we're off for the holiday. We'll
Yep.
run a program or
Yep,
something like that.
and then we have Bruce Morris back
Then we
on.
got Bruce. Oh, I love Bruce. I love doing shows with Bruce.
Actually,
and
I'm
I will
sorry,
be talking.
Senator Formica on the 3rd.
Paul, we got Paul Formica.
Paul Formica, and then we got
Paul.
Bruce Morris,
Then
and
we
then
got Bruce.
hopefully we're having Passero on.
Then
and
hopefully,
we'll take another
Mike,
couple
we're
weeks off.
supposed to have Mike the 17th. We'll have to get on him and make sure we get on him. Will he be mayor by then? I don't know if he's going to be mayor by then. Close. I think it'll be almost mayor time. Look, that's it. Let's pray for all our friends.
Sworn in on December 8th.
December 8th? Oh,
Sir.
thank you, God. December 8th, my God. Oh,
Happens
okay,
quick.
so it happens quick. Oh, wow. That's good. My viewer now will know. December 8th, he takes the reins. Okay, so we'll have time to watch him. Please, everybody, pray for us. We'll pray for you.
And I got to say hi to my mother-in-law, Deb.
Oh,
She
Deb.
always busts my chops, and I never say hi to her on
Dad,
camera.
Call them up and tell that media down there to fix the vocal thing or whatever's
Yeah,
going
you
on.
go complain down there.
Deb, get him to make my shirt, okay? You know what I'm talking about. You made one for him. You know what I mean? The clerk.
See, now I'm going to have to deliver the disc directly to her so she can see this.
We love you all. Did I say? I said hello to Jerry. I said hello to postal people. I said hello to people at the restaurant, at G's, and at Philomena's. Mike Passero, God bless you. Okay, and Mr. Passero, Mike's father. I know you always watch the show. I love you. God
good
bless.
night.
See you next week.